In digging through the archives of the family videos, we came across a lot of interesting stuff from the old days, including some family trips to England. And this is one of them where we were visiting my Nana in Gosport, England. That's Nana, Mum, my sister and I. And then we were off to North Wales. It wasn't much from Gosport, I must say, but this is North Wales, Rhos-on-Sea, at my Auntie Eileen's house. 33 Marine Drive, Rhos-on-Sea it was, where she lived with Uncle Norman, a fella that she married who was quite a wealthy chap from the Potteries. And that was my Uncle Morris there, and Auntie Eileen walking forward. My Uncle Morris was my dad's brother, Auntie Eileen, my dad's sister, and my sister, Marilyn. And it was Rhos-on-Sea in the background. Now we're back down actually to Gosport, and that was my mother. Across the road from where my Nana lived, there was a chap who was the son of a couple that owned a ski sports goods shop down on the high street in Gosport, and he had a sporty red sports car there, as you can see, and Mum went for a spin in it one day, and I was filming it, and that's Marilyn, and then another scene of Nana. I guess we were out on a trip in the English countryside, Nana, myself and my sister. I think we probably went I think my mother was taking the video. I think we probably went for a picnic. I vaguely remember now that after the picnic we washed the cups out in the stream. And this was somewhere north of Gosport in Hampshire, somewhere in some little country lane. But lots of good memories of things like that. You can see I was very trendy. I had my English Beatle boots on. I was a mad Beatles fan in those days. And so that was nice. My sister jumping up and down on the bridge. And this is an old church somewhere. I don't know where it is, but of course driving around in the English countryside is always wonderful. Lots of old churches and lovely places to see. Donkeys to pat and pet. On the island is a traffic route. I got a feeling this was my mother's sister, Auntie Bunny, over in Kent. I think we drove over there to visit her in Ashford in Kent, I believe it was. That was a quick scene of me diving off a diving board at South Capers, which was where my father used to put up all the entertainers that worked at the 40 Thieves. And right now, this video is taken from the balcony of the 40 Thieves Club. And this is circa mid-1960s. This is the Bermuda Easter Parade. And of course, Bermuda's never ever had anything quite as spectacular as what those Easter parades used to be like. That's my Auntie Minnie, my mother, my sister. My mother giving her a little thump, get out of the way. That's rather funny. But anyway, the Easter parades were marvellous. The majorettes, all the different parishes used to put out floats. And the shops, of course, and the US military were on the base in those days. There were clowns in the street, and literally all of that's myself there on the balcony overlooking. But thousands of people in Bermuda used to come out for the Easter parades. It was really fantastic, and everybody put a lot of work into making the floats look really, truly beautiful. And it's another group of majorettes there, all dressed in their nice blue outfits. And a clown. And back in those days, my father had a band playing at the 40 Thieves Club, the Coca-Cola Steel Band, with Joe Conchshell Benjamin, and this is them as they go past playing their steel drums. Most of those fellas came from Trinidad. The majority of them were all Trinis. And there's another little marching band going by. And that's the pipe band. The pipe band were always a big favorite with the crowd. And that's my Mary Ann Braham. She was my mother's best friend in those days. They used to go bowling a lot, and that was the queen of the pageant. There was always a queen. Usually the queen of the pageant was an American college girl that had won the previous year's college queen contest at Elbow Beach, sponsored by the Department of Tourism, the Trade Development Board in those days it was. That's a magnificent float, isn't it? Beautiful float. And the world spinning around, the world of Bermuda, the map of Bermuda spinning around. Very creative stuff that people used to do in those days. and a float of a clown.
Oh, Mr. Trimmingham, some of these
Really good stuff.
are just a lot of bores. We had given them some land, but they sucked up tons of sand and added many acres to our shores. Oh, Mr. Trot, oh, Mr. Trot.
And of course they used to have all the big marching bands. They used to have bands off the base. The Fire Brigade had a band. The Bermuda Regiment had a band. There's a little bunch of... There's the U.S. Navy float. Of course, in those days we had the U.S. Navy here. So it was really a lot of fun. Everybody used to have a float. The Salvation Army, you name it. Now we're off to... my father did a world trip with his business partner at the time, Ernest Ritzie. They went all around the world. Thailand, Australia, Hawaii, you name it. They went there, Lebanon. And on their way back, they stopped off in Rome and Paris. On their way to meet the family, we were all going on a Christmas trip that winter to Austria, a ski trip in Austria, which was a lot of fun. And you can see these magnificent scenes of the buildings in Rome. And that, of course, is the world-famous Colosseum, where they used to throw scurvy people like me to the lions back in those days for a little bit of entertainment. Nothing like watching a few people eaten by a few lions, I say. Now we're off in Austria. Myself, my mother, sister, and my dad, the four of us, we went over to a place called Turacahöhe in Canton, south of Austria. We all flew into Innsbruck, and my father's business partner met us there, and then we drove down to the Hotel Hochschober, and I'd worked there for a couple of times in the hotel as a summer job, and so the family all went and stayed in the hotel. The chap that owned it, Peter Lieb, used to work in Bermuda. He was at, I think he was at Cambridge Beaches or something like that at one time. And this is a bridge that you can see I'm walking across with Ernest Ritzie, who was my father's business partner at the 40 Thieves. And there we are, my sister, my mother, Ernest, and me with the long hair. And this is a scene of the frozen lake in Turacahöhe, and that was kind of a beautiful place. It really was just magical in the winter. And over there was the Hotel Brandstätter, just coming into view. Brandstätter. Marilyn had a little fling with the guy that owned the son of the father that owned the place, and Ziggy Brandstätter. He was on the Austrian ski team at one time. And that's myself not doing too badly for my first time skiing. I picked it up very quickly. After 3 or 4 days, I was wailing away down the hill. And this is Marilyn doing her little party piece. And, she stood up that time. And there comes my dad. My dad had a few goes, and my mother didn't make out too well. She fell down and broke her wrist or something. I can't remember. It was all big palaver, and she had to go down the hill all the way down and find the hospital, and it was rather unfortunate, but that's what happens when you go skiing sometimes. I'm having a whale of a time. And there's Marilyn doing her, well, that's what she did a lot of, falling down in the snow. But it was really beautiful. It was great times. Austria, some more fun memories of the family in the UK, a little bit of Bermuda, and Austria.